In this video, we are gonna see how to create an examination in test examination dashboard. So once you open the homepage, you can see a dashboard button here, or you can log in and get into the dashboard. And once you logged into the dashboard, you can see like a lot of menus in the left side. So all you need to click is the exams, and you can click create button in top right, name some examinations like I'm naming NEET mock test 2026 or something. We have two visibility options. One is public and another is private. If it is private, then you need to add the candidates manually. So the candidates who you add or invite are only applicable to write the exam. But if it is public exam, then anybody with the link can register and attend the examinations. Also, you can just share the link with anyone and they just get into the examination details and they can register. And it is also available in the public examination portal of Tezt too. So for example, if someone visits Tezt and there is an option to explore examinations, so they can see the list of public available exams here. So it will be listed here, so anybody can register the that exam. So for now, let's keep it as public. You can always change this even after creating the exam. Then we can click create exam and there you go. We got an examinations. So we have like multiple tabs in the settings. So this is very general stuff. Settings, we can upload some kind of artwork. It should be exactly 1500 width and 600 pixels height. So once you upload the pic, then people can see this like like this. Okay, this is a thumbnail like in YouTube. Okay, then after that we can change the title letter and about slug. So what is slug? So slug is the URL parameters. So for example, here if I copy this and paste here, we can see this. Got it? So you can just share this link. For example, you just need to enter something. This is just for user friendliness. You can just use the default one. It's not a big problem. And optionally, you can select the examination level. By default, it will be general. If you need, you can select anything. Also, the languages and a short summary. So we have two options, short description and detailed description. The short description is the one that's seen here, and the detailed description is the one we see here. So you can add the in detail description of the examinations, like whatever it is. For example, NEET examination, and we put some descriptions here about the examinations. You can also make it as bold and change the size. You can modify these things. Additionally, we have an option like curriculum and syllabus. You can define the curriculum of these examinations, which we have a separate section here, as we don't have anything. For example, I just put some neat curriculum and save it here, and we can see the curriculum here. So you can add those things also. In the second tab, we have the configurations related to exam. So as we discussed about the visibility, so we can modify later, like public or private, anything. And this is the execution and timing. So the first option is attempt. So how many attempt a single candidate can do? So it's generally it will be one attempt. Sometimes in case if you need multiple, you can just pick the number of attempts that's allowed by a user. Then timing mode, we have two options. One is user-based timing mode. The second one is admin-based timing mode. The first one means Whenever the user joins, whenever the user opens, then he get the access to start the examination. No need of admin approval. So for example, I define a registration time, I define a start time at 10 o'clock and a user comes at 10:20, then he can just start the examination by himself. Or at 10 o'clock, then he can just start examination by himself. But if we set it as admin based, then you need to manually go and turn on start examinations. Then the candidate can access the examination. Until then, it is blocked to the user. So if it is some critical examinations like school examinations, then the second one is preferred. If it's like public or general examinations, then the user is flexible. Then you can define the duration, like 190 is 3 hours and 120 is 2 hours. Also, you need to select the time zone of the examinations. So Asia and Kolkata. So if the time zone is like based on India, then wherever you go to any place of the world, it's fixed to the time zone of India. So for example, if a person if the examination is based on Asia, Kolkata, which is Indian time zone, and if someone is living in Gulf countries, maybe in UAE, then he get like 1.5 hours previous of this time. For example, if our time is 5, like 5 p.m., the examination time, then the person in the UAE, they must attend at 3:30. So that's the time zone differences. So which it must be fit to a particular time zone. So this is mostly done by from where the actual organizer is belongs to. For example, if the organizer is belong to India, then mostly like will be in like Indian time zone, or maybe like based on the candidates. If most people are attending from Gulf regions and organizer is from India, so they can better define like time zones of Dubai or something. Then registration start time and registration end time. So this must be defined before publishing the examination. So from this time, the registration will be beginning, and you can also define the registration end time. After this, no candidates can register for the examinations. Before this, no candidates can register to examination. So registration is from start time to end time between that. And we have an option to add the examination start and examination end. So this is mostly like, for example, we have an examination at 10 a.m. and uh, it's like until 1 p.m. Then we can just define the time of this 1 p.m. 10 a.m. That's it. So in most cases, if we are using user base, then we give like extra 1 hour where people can utilize that 1 hour to join and end. Which means if you allow a person to join start examination at 10, then the duration is 120, which means 2 hours. Then it will be like 12. If you add additional 1 hour extra, then the user who comes at 11 is also able to attend until 1 o'clock. Even the examination duration is just 2 hours. So it's like flexible thing. So based on your examination severity, you can modify the duration and start and end time windows. So if you are collecting fees, we have an option to fee payment deadline. So if you just need to define these things. So these are the basic execution and timing settings. Now let's move to grading and rule settings. So we have like three options in result visibility. One is immediate. Once the candidate submits the examination, he can see the results, scores, everything. So we can click immediate. If the examination, then you need to manually see the answers, then release the results. You can release the result in the dashboard. Third option is manual release only, which means it doesn't automatically score, calculate or anything. You just need to do everything manually. So you can pick whichever is best suited for your examination. We also have an option to have negative marking. We have four options: detect for wrong answers only, detect for unattempted only, deduct for wrong and unattempted. You can pick whichever it is, then you can add how many marks, negative marks is added for each of these cases. We have much more bunch of features here like shuffle questions, which will shuffle the questions order to different candidates. So each candidate will have different orders. We also have like shuffle within section, which means if we are creating like multiple sections, for example, in NEET exams, we have like around three sections, chemistry, physics, and biology. So within each section, it will be shuffled. We also have shuffle options. So if we turn on this, then each question options will also be shuffled. Same way we have multiple options like show marks to candidate. If we disable this, then people won't see the number of marks they gain by answering one particular questions. Also show violations to candidate. So in results page, we have an option to see the violations they done. So we can just enable or disable these things. Require complete profile means people can, whenever a candidate is registering the examination, he must complete his profile informations like name, email, those kind of stuff. Then this is very important, the structured exam. So we have like two kind of exams, structured and unstructured. In unstructured exam, which is default, the user just log in and answer the question straight. No sections, no differentiations. But in complex examinations, we have like multiple sections. For example, if you're like neat kind of examinations, you have different sections like physics, biology, chemistry. So you can separate each section as different. So if you turn on that, then your question layout will also be modified by this. And we also have an option like per question timing, which means in some kind of like quiz-like questions, we can enable this thing. So each question will have specific time. Allow answer editing means if you disable this thing, then once saved, then the candidate can't edit the question answer again. So it's like one time. So this is like mostly not needed in normal examinations. Only if it is critical examinations, then you can enable that. Next, let's go to proctoring. So we have a bunch of options for examination proctoring. AI proctoring is if you enable this thing, then there will be an AI proctoring enabled, which will always detect the face and facial expressions, detect multiple faces, and those kind of AI related, and it will be auto reported in the dashboard. So live proctoring means you can connect like Google Meet or something, and you can view the users directly. This is not integrated with the applications manual. And about browser security, we if you enable this thing, then the user cannot switch the tabs, the user cannot remove the full screen mode, and it's for a secure purpose. If you enable disable copy paste, then and if user try to copy, select and copy or try to paste in input or anything, it will be detected as a violation. Then the tab switch limit, if you add like around 5 tab switch limit, then if the user switches the tab 5 times, the exam will be auto submitted. We can also set the minimum passing threshold as well as auto release the result. So if you enable these things, the result will be released automatically. All right. So next, let's move to the attempt form. So here, this section is if you want some extra forms before registration. For example, you're an organization, you're creating an exam, and you want an additional information from the candidate. So your organization name is ABC. So you have like ABC registration number. It's like kind of text or something required, which means whenever a new candidate register to this examination, they will be asked to enter this number. Also, if you're manually collecting some payment or something, you can ask like fee payment ref. So people, if you make this required, then any candidate, if they want to register for this examination, they must enter these both fields or else they can't continue. Next tabs, it's instruction tab. We can add some kind of instruction. For example, don't switch the tabs or always look to the screen. Or you can add any kind of custom instructions. Make sure always you do some changes, click Save Changes, or else it will be discarded. We have a lot of options here: questions, candidates, attempts, fees payments, analytics, certification. We can view these things in the upcoming videos. Thank you.